In 2004, while the USS Nimitz was patrolling off the coast of Southern California, fighter pilot David Fravor was in command of the FA-18F squadron during a brief training exercise when they encountered an unidentified flying object. They claimed it was in the shape of a Tic Tac and could perform gravity-defying feats that went against almost all known laws of aviation.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
Fravor and his team managed to capture it on camera multiple times, and supposedly even had a near-air collision with the thing. The video was supposedly leaked from the USS Nimitz itself, and while the video itself is rather unremarkable, the testimony of the pilots who shot it made the video one of the most remarkable UFO sightings ever recorded. The military claimed the footage was fake and distanced themselves from it as much as they could. And that was the end of that. Until the year 2023. After former intelligence official and Air Force officer David Grush set up a congressional hearing in which both himself and David Fravor testify on their experiences. Fravor reaffirms the authenticity of the video, and Grush not only brings to light the lack of transparency the Pentagon has had with the House of Representatives, but also claims that they have a secret crash UFO retrieval program, including the dead bodies of the supposed pilots of these crafts. This shocking revelation that multiple esteemed and high-ranking military officials are making such extraordinary claims has been met with.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I didn't hear about that. Wait, was that on the news?
I believe it. I grew up in Las Vegas. Area 51 is right there, so a lot of people I knew that worked there and stuff too, they couldn't talk about it, and they were always very strange to me, so I believe it.
Despite this being the closest any official body has come to admitting contact with extraterrestrial life, in nearly 80 years, UFO sightings have been attributed to them. The world as a whole seems to be largely indifferent to this. These military officials are staking their careers on revealing this information to the public, and yet the world has bigger things in mind. If aliens really were real, many organizations such as SETI would have found at least a smidge of their existence by now. Maybe we really are alone in the universe.
No.
No,
No, I don't.
I don't believe so. I think there's other life forms out there.
I believe there's something out there. I don't think we know, or at least I don't know what it looks like or what it is, but I don't think we're alone. There's other things that are alive that we don't know about.
13 billion years ago, gravity condensed upon a singular point, and from there came expansion. The vast cosmos as we know them spread in all directions from that point, and soon after, many of the stars we gaze upon at night formed. 4.6 billion years ago, our own sun was born, and 100 million years after that, our humble little rock came to be. 3.5 billion years ago, life began to emerge from the oceans. 20,000 years ago, what can be considered human began to walk the plains of Africa. 12,000 years ago, the first empire had carved up the land, and all living humans shall likely not see more than 100 years of it. In that cosmically short time, humanity has gone from hunter-gatherers to walking on the moon. Given how ancient the universe truly is in comparison, how common Earth-like planets are, and even considering other life forms that are formed with completely different chemistry, there's no way we're completely alone here. So what's really going on? Since the Industrial Revolution, technology has advanced and outpaced societal norms at a tremendous rate. This is a suit in the 1800s, and this is a suit today. For comparison, this is a car in the early 1900s, and this is a are now. Computers went from taking up an entire room to being paper thin in an actual lifetime. This paired with social media has left the world more connected than it has ever been. Yet,
Do I ever feel lonely? Yes. Yeah, I feel lonely sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's times where, you get that emptiness, and I mean, I'm glad and I'm joyful for my kids and their life, but there's times where we're just there, I'm just relaxed sitting there, and sometimes, yeah, I do feel that emptiness, loneliness.
Yeah, I think it's a normal feeling. Yeah.
a sense of solitude seems to exist within the collective unconsciousness. More people are reflecting on their loneliness as depression seems to increase day by day. Depression is at an all-time high, increasing to 29% in 2023. Despite our constant connections, we find ourselves to be more distant than ever before. What's even crazier than this is a complete lack of interest in even having a conversation about this.
The fear of judgment.
I think how you're raised plays a big part of it. Like my parents always taught me, like even if I didn't want to say hi to people, like family, and like I was shy, no, you're gonna go say hi. And I feel like a lot of families are like, oh, you don't want to say hi? Okay, no problem. I feel like if you're forced into something, it definitely helps in the future, even if you don't like it when you're younger.
It's kind of like the last thing you would think to talk about. You know, it's not like usually your conversational starter. You know, I guess it would have to do with like the right setting.
For me, for the most part, any kind of conversation would be great. I mean, I've learned to just pick up on anybody's, conversation, whether they're just smiling at you, smirking, or just make a comment and just kind of play with it and kind of communicate with that, for the most part, just so you can just, make them feel that they're being acknowledged or being known.
For some people, yeah, but I feel like there's an uncontrolled feeling that even when you're reaching out to get help, it doesn't necessarily help you. It may help a little bit, but I feel like sometimes it's more internal than like you just have to talk to me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I used to be in healthcare for 10 years. I work with animals now, but I used to work with humans, and it's stigmatized a lot, so people are quick to get on blood pressure medication, diabetes medication. The minute you say you need antidepressants, everybody halts. So they don't understand that your brain doesn't work just the same as your insulin levels wouldn't work and you'd be put on diabetic medication.
I think so. I think there is.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's always hobbies. There's always some type of relative, a friend, co-worker, It just depends on the person. If they want to be alone, they can be alone. But realistically, you're never alone. You always have somebody there, whether it's a human or spirit or just your faith in general.
The UFO conspiracy is one that the military pushed many years ago to hide their secret spy planes, once they believed the origin of the initial sightings could not be determined. Yet even then, many within their own ranks, when speaking out, would often find their careers ruined and reputations destroyed for it. At some point, many of these officials began to turn silent. Maybe in much the same way, our average person would not speak about their own internal struggle for the same reason. But these problems don't go away by holding it in. people need to be open to talking with each other and holding these conversations.
Don't be afraid to seek help. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. I think it's normal, and people, I feel like everyone feels like they need help at some point in life, and a lot of people try to hide it just so they can seem like they're stronger than other people. And life isn't about being stronger than other people. It's about yourself, not what other people think about you. So I feel like focus more about you than how other people view you.
That you're not alone. And even celebrities, billionaires, rich people you think may have it together, even doctors don't have it together. There's nothing wrong with getting help, and nothing lasts forever.
For me, is just try to find somebody you're comfortable with, or somebody that you feel that you can be open with and talk to them, and then just kind of make those steps onto getting some help. Again, parents, friends, coworkers, the priest, maybe your neighbor next to you. I mean, whatever you feel that you can express yourself and open up with would be my suggestion for the most part.
Finding a place that's comfortable, where you feel comfortable at home, maybe like a certain store that has things that you like. You might find somebody there who shares the same interest, and just kind of like start with small, conversations, or like, oh yeah, I like that, but I like this about it, share your thoughts about it. And that's usually how conversations start, and then from there it'll just, go on however.
Being a friend to each other and reaching out when we need each other might be the most important thing we can do in such a vast, infinite universe. For now, all we have is each other. And if we learn that lesson, maybe we could make a few new friends.
Oh man. What do you eat? What do you guys eat? Do you eat? Because I love food. And I want to know all about your alien food. Yeah, I think that's all I would say.
I guess for me, treat them like any normal person would. Honestly, I've never been asked that question, but to me, for my part, I would just treat them like I would, kind of like treat a friend, coworker, whatever. Get to know them, understand them. I'd maybe ask them why they're here, how long have they been here, try to, get some information, really just get to know their lifestyle, and try to understand that for the most part, and see what their interest is in this universe here, or in this world here that they're visiting here.
Yeah, I'll definitely get to know them, figure out, where they came from, their history, everything, try to get to like the same understanding, so that we're not, fighting or something like that. Don't want to step on anybody's toes.
I'd want to know what they want from us. Like, we want to learn about them, but what do they want from us? If they're harm or anything.